All right, if I can have your attention here in the media center, we are now joined by Matt Kenseth, driver of the number 20 DeWalt FlexVolt Toyota. Matt, can you tell me how you and the number 20 team feel heading into the final Superspeedway race of the season?
How we feel?
I
feel great.
Feel great?
You want more than that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel as good as you can ever feel going to Talladega. You never know what's really gonna happen here. So, the way everybody kind of practices today and gets ready to qualify and all that, you never really know how much speed you have until the race gets started and you get racing with everybody. So, just kind of looking forward to getting through the next 2 days and get racing Sunday.
Great. With that, we'll open up for questions. We'll start on the left to Kelly, then to Jordan, Bob, and Mike.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Matt, during the broadcast last week in Charlotte, it was said that Jason had mentioned how the longer you guys go into the season without winning, it's been starting to weigh on the team's confidence. Is there anything to that? What has your mindset been the longer this year has gone on and you haven't been able to get to victory lane?
Yeah, I don't know that it necessarily weighs on everybody's confidence, that much. But with that being said, certainly it's been a long time, way too long since we've won a race, especially considering the equipment we're in and all that. So it sure would be a boost to everybody's confidence if you could, get that win, get everything to go right, and execute and finish it off and get to victory lane. It always boosts your confidence, I think, no matter where you are or how long it's been since you've won.
We'll go to Jordan, Bob, Mike, and Claire.
Matt, relating to Jimmy Johnson last week at Charlotte, did you know and did your team know that you can tighten lug nuts outside your pit box? And what do you think of the fact that not all teams know the rules going forward?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion on it because I really don't know a lot about it. I haven't really even asked Jason about it, and honestly, the conversation with Jason and I didn't really come up this week. So I couldn't give you an honest answer whether he knew that you could do that or not.
Bob, go ahead.
Bob Parker, ESPN. Have you had any productive talks about next year with anybody in the last few weeks? And does your future weigh on you maybe more now than when you knew you than like a few months ago?
No, it probably weighs on me way less today than it did, probably a few months ago. Had some real productive talks with Katie. We're gonna run another day. We had a real long, productive talk together. That was enjoyable. It's true. We did. We talked about it a lot.
We'll go to.
You got to raise your hand a little higher. A little higher. There you go. All right.
We'll go.
You look good today, Bob. You look good today,
Go
by
ahead,
the way.
Jenna.
Confident. I like it.
Jenna, go ahead.
Oh, it's over your
All
shoulder.
right, Mike, Claire, Jerry, and then we'll go to Jenna.
Man, slow news day.
Which you can help. Mike Hemmer, USA Today. Knowing this potentially could be your last race here, do you have kind of a sense of melancholy going into the weekend and racing at Talladega for maybe the last time, enjoyment level, etc.?
Nah, I mean, I think except for the very first time you come here, every time you come here, you think it possibly could be your last race here. So I don't really feel any different today than any other time except for the first time I came here.
Claire, go ahead.
I don't know if I can follow that up. Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Ryan Blaney said that this race would be more aggressive because of the points racing, but you race hard every single race, and it's hard for me to imagine that Talladega could be more aggressive. When you hear that from another driver, what do you think about what might play out?
I just think there'll be more cars in the crash. Typically, I don't know if it'll be more aggressive. I think what he's most likely saying is that last year at this race there was some strategy played for some, I was one of the cars that, got together that we needed not a disaster to make the next round. We needed I don't remember anymore, 20th place finish or something like that. So you try to kind of hang out in the back, just make sure you don't lose the draft in case there is any wrecks, you're not in it, and then get to where you need to be at the end of the race. So I think with the stages and being at the second race of the round and all that, I think, probably, what he's saying is you're going to race for position every single lap of every race, with the stages and the points you're going to need to try to transfer to the next round.
Jerry, go ahead on the left.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking Tires on NPR, and that was along those lines. Was how would the extra points, how would you guys battle out for the extra points in the stages, and we're at what point during the race and in those two.
Oh, hold on a second. Mike's got a call.
Oh.
You just be quiet so you can hear him, or you got it? Okay, go ahead. He can't hear me anyway.
Okay. So at what
thought it
point
was
during
funny.
those stages do you actually try to turn it up and get as aggressive or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you try to keep that track position the whole time if possible. I mean, I've been, fortunate a few times, had some pretty fast cars here where you could kind of control the flow and the pace of the race, and it was hard to get shuffled out and that type of thing. So I think you hope for that kind of speed, and then you hope to make the right decisions and try to stay there the whole time. It's harder to go from the back to the front than what it used to be, especially if everybody's, if nobody's on to kind of hang out and hope there's a wreck strategy and you're not in it. It's harder to get back through the front because it just gets side by side and plugged up, and there's not a lot of places to go. So I think you try to race hard to keep that track position the whole race if you can.
Jenna, and then we'll go to Bob, and then we'll go back to Mike.
Jennifer, AP. Matt, I have two questions for you. Those productive conversations you've had with Katie, you've got a lot of mouths to feed at home. What is it that you're looking for employment, if you even still need to be employed?
What am I looking for?
Yeah, what are you looking for? What would make you happy next year?
I was thinking about maybe driving a school bus. I thought it would be fun. I drive the kids to school every morning, and I enjoy driving. I thought it'd be fun to drive them home too.
You think that would pay enough?
I think I'll be okay. I think they'll be able to eat either way.
My follow-up question, in regards to sponsorship and the way the economy has reset, has it surprised you how quickly it has happened and how differently it has affected certain drivers?
Yes and no. I mean, I feel like in a way, I mean, on a big scheme of things, I feel like things have happened, quickly. But yet, on the other hand, it kind of does surprise me how, the reset, if you want to call it that, hasn't really been totally linear. Some people have been able to make it work, and some people haven't. But so I think certainly right now is a very interesting time. I think it's a very tough time for car owners to find the money that they need to field, competitive race cars with competitive personnel. I think it's probably harder than it's at least it's been since I've been around, and the cost is higher than when I started as well. So certainly a challenging environment. I think there's a lot of positives though, and hopefully it'll start to turn back the other direction.
We'll
You're
go
welcome.
to Bob, Mike, and then Kenny.
Bob Harker, ESPN. Dale Jr. said this week that he wanted to have that helmet visor cam because it motivates him to. He wants to give fans like something to watch. Like he wants to make moves that they're gonna want to watch. But we often hear drivers say that look, you're just motivated to race and everything. Is he kind of a different breed? Just that he enjoys the show so much.
Man, that wasn't a question I was expecting. I think, when I've seen that visor cam thing, I mean, I don't have any interest in having it really, because then people could see how dumb I am and the bad moves that I make. But it looks kind of like a video game. I feel like I watch that and I'm like, I'm glad it doesn't look like that out of my eyes because it's kind of making me dizzy. So it's a crazy different view, how much everything moves and all that. You don't really realize that, while you're driving a car. So it's a really cool view. Yeah, I mean, he's in all that stuff, and I think that is cool for the fans to be able to see the shot, pretty much exactly what the driver sees. And certainly through the years, nobody's been better at Talladega than him, so I can see why you kind of want that, and they can kind of go through what he's going through on the racetrack.
Mike, go ahead.
Oh, you're off the phone. All right.
Are you open to driving anything next year? Would you drive full-time Xfinity, or does it have to be Cup, or would you just kind of go away if you don't have a good Cup situation?
Is that a job offer? Oh, you're not fielding the car. Okay, I didn't know if that's what the phone call was. If somebody's hiring you for a GM. I mean, the school bus thing is appealing. Yeah, that is true. I've seen some of them. No, I don't know. I mean, I said a few weeks ago I wasn't really going to talk about next year anymore until, as long as we're alive in the playoffs, which We're certainly not one of the favorites right now. We haven't done the things we want to do, but we're certainly still alive. Anything can happen this weekend. And Kansas is a great track for us. So I'm honestly just focused on the next 6 weeks or whatever it is at the moment.
Kenny, go ahead. Back.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Matt, I mean, you've run on restrictor plate tracks for 20, 30 years, ever how long you've been around, honestly.
30 years,
yeah,
Kenny?
Has
Really?
Has your approach to these races changed over time? And do you come into these races with a sense of dread, or
30
are you
years?
not concerned? Okay, not 30 years.
My rookie year was 2000, by the way. Quiet.
All right, 17. No, but I mean,
Well, really be 18, see, I count 2000, and then you add 17 onto that, plus you count the 2000.
yeah, and then you had the one start the year before.
Yeah, but that wasn't on a plate race.
That's true.
Yeah, got that.
So has your approach changed to these races? And I mean, how do you look at them? I mean, we hear guys go, "Oh God, I hate running here. I wish we never ran here," and other guys are like, "Nah, they're not bad." What's your outlook on them?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of enjoy it until you crash, So I mean, I think the longer you do it, the more times you've crashed. So in a way, kind of the less you maybe enjoy it, but it's intense. And I've had some very enjoyable races here where we've had some fast cars, and you can kind of control the pack, and makes it so much easier to make the moves that look like the right moves. But when your car is somewhat average, then it makes every move kind of look bad, and just it's not as fun. You get shuffled out and get in bad situations. So it's just there's a lot out of your control. I don't think that's not necessarily you don't enjoy it. I don't know that the strategy's changed a lot through the years. Maybe the last few years, since the chase started, depending where you were in points, the strategies might be a little bit different, where maybe you're a little less aggressive, or toward the end of the race, maybe hesitant to make that move so you don't get shuffled out and lose the points, that type of thing. But other than that, I don't think your strategy changes much. You always want to be there at the end, but you also realize that you have to be in that lead group, and you have to be up there during the day a little bit to kind of feel what everybody else has going on, and who has the fast cars, and the kind of the moves they're making, where they're strong, where they're weak, that type of thing. So it's important to be up in that top few as much as you can, really. I feel like, to learn as much as you can.
Do we have any additional questions for Matt? Matt, thanks for the time, and good
All
luck
right,
on
you're
Sunday.
welcome. I think I'm stuck.